everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's 7 o'clock and we are live. Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's 7 o'clock. And we are live. Welcome to V Talks. I'm so glad to have you tuning in on this beautiful December evening. I don't know what your weather forecast is, but here in New England, I heard some rumor that we could potentially get 1.5 feet of snow tomorrow night. And it was 60 degrees here on Sunday. But it's winter and these things happen. And I'm actually looking forward to it because it's the holidays and how beautiful is a fresh snowfall during the holidays. And yeah, so thank you again for tuning in. Tonight is going to be a really special show. I've been talking about it for probably 2 weeks because the topic tonight is sex. Yep, I said it, sex. Sex, relationships, intimacy, passion, sexuality, whatever you want to ask, you can ask it here because we have a relationship therapist on tonight. His name is Andrew Aaron, and he is a writer for SoCo magazine. He's been doing that for a really long time. He's got a radio show. He's got a relationship practice in New Bedford, and he is our guest tonight. So I'm going to bring him on the stream to the V Talks, and maybe I am. Oh, somehow I got a dictionary up there. That was weird. I'm my own producer, and sometimes I mess up. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Veronica. I'm well.
So, Andrew, people affectionately refer to you as the love doctor.
Well, that is very sweet of them.
Yes.
And a lot of my patients call me doctor. However, I'm actually a licensed independent clinical social worker, or an LICSW. Mm-hmm. And for the past 25 years, maybe even a little longer, I have been helping couples love more deeply. And I'm also a sex therapist and a marriage counselor and a relationship therapist and also an individual therapist. And I help people love. I help people love themselves. I help people love others, their partners, their families, their friends, and life. I help everyone love more deeply.
Oh, well, we're probably going to have a lively conversation tonight. You know, it's interesting that I have a very large panel that joins me week after week, and I felt that maybe people were a little uncomfortable talking about sex. And you notice I've said the word a few times tonight because I'm actually a little uncomfortable talking about sex. And I'm talking about it in front of a whole bunch of people right now.
Right.
How brave is that? So my question to you, am I blushing? So my question to you is, why do you think that people feel that it's a taboo subject and that it makes them uncomfortable?
I think, Veronica, that has a long history. I think that for millennia, sex has been linked to sinfulness. You know, as human beings, we are very, very deep. There are many, many layers. And a lot of our sexuality is actually connected to spirit. And if you've noticed, through the millennia, religions and religious institutions often regulated morality. And they're the ones who taught about when sex is appropriate and when it's not appropriate. And for thousands of years, they have taught that sex is sinful and sex is bad, sex is carnal. And that has permeated the consciousness, not just of Europe, but also our country. and created certain values. And linked with that is certain shame about being human, certain shame about our bodies. But sex is a normal part of being a human being. It's a healthy part of a human being. And most people who are human, they not only eat food on a regular basis, but they're also sexual on a regular basis. It's as normal and healthy as eating food.
So, it's interesting that you say that because I was raised in a very strict Southern Baptist home.
Mhm.
And my grandfather was Pennsylvania Dutch. I
Mhm.
almost want to tell you he was Mennonite. I don't know. But
Mhm.
the traditions of being Baptist and, you just didn't even talk about it,
That's right.
growing up. And, it was just a strict environment for me. And I always thought, well, that must just be why, because it's not ladylike. You don't speak of it, and that's a private thing.
And what message did that teach to you, that the attitude was, we just don't talk about that?
And what am I doing on the V-Talks? I'm talking about sex with a sex
Ooh,
therapist.
so you must have all kinds of guilt and uncomfortable feelings right now.
Oh yeah. This
Yeah,
is the
there it
year
is,
of being
Veronica.
this is the year of being uncomfortable.
There it is. There's that
But
link. And
I know there are a lot of people out there that are uncomfortable, and that's why I wanted to have you on, because I felt like it was a topic that everybody would be interested in.
absolutely, it's a topic that everyone's fascinated with and uncomfortable with and embarrassed about and excited about and very curious about it. And that's one reason why, being a sex therapist, I am of use to so many people, because this shame, this internalized ambivalence about a very important part of being human, is often linked together with toxic emotion. And therefore, we can't be healthy if we're ashamed of ourselves, if we're uncomfortable with our bodies, and we're not relaxed and being, balanced and centered. And we're not being our best if we're anxious and fearful.
Right. And like you said, society has played an important role there, right? So, just discussing it, in private, but discussing it publicly is frowned upon as well, for many. That's
Absolutely.
another barrier that you would have to, break through.
Absolutely.
I don't
There's
I don't even know
all
what to say
kinds
right
of
now.
rules, even many
Yeah.
unspoken rules about, when is it appropriate, when is it not appropriate. And ultimately, in the past, that was the role of the churches, to say, this is when it's appropriate, this is when it's not appropriate. And we're still grappling, even in our country, in our moral discussions and even political discussions about
Right.
what is the purpose of sex. And if we are realistic, probably, my unscientific estimate is that 99% of the sex people have has nothing to do with reproduction. 99%. It's really about connecting. It's
It's
really about loving somebody. It's really about
Yeah.
strengthening the bond, or expressing appreciation and love for another person and wanting to be close. You
Yeah.
know?
That's well said.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
not always. So I usually bring on people to ask questions, and I'm going to add Carrie to the stream because she has a question. She is dating in her 50s, and she wants to talk about just that. Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
Good to
Hi,
see
Andy.
Hello,
you.
Carrie.
You look very pretty.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I bought a new top and I like the sleeves, so I'm going to talk like this so you can see them.
Is that a Free People top?
It is. I got it, but I
Ah,
got it at TJ Maxx.
oh, it looks like I know
It
it's a
is
Free
Free
People top.
People,
I
but I got it
know,
at TJ Maxx.
it's real cute. Okay, go ahead. Ask your question to Andrew.
So, my question, Andy, is You've already hit on parts of it, which is being in a marriage, raised Catholic, right? Everything that goes along with that, which is
Mm-hmm.
sex equals love, equals all these things. So I get separated. I think about going out and dating, and say I meet a wonderful person. We have a nice time, but I have this anxiety that builds up that's like, can't just give it for free. That, I'd have now your dad didn't talk to you, Veronica, but my dad sat at the table with me and talked about, this is what men will do, this is what your gift is, you can say no. Like, I have a lot of like confidence, Andy, in my womanhood and how I could say no if I felt uncomfortable. It's not about
Mm-hmm.
being anxious, and it's not about being uncomfortable. It's about the shame and the guilt
Mm-hmm.
that I just want to pleasure myself and my partner, but there's not a commitment. So my problem is, one, not confidence, and it's not anxious. It's, why can't I just engage in something that's awesome and feels lovely without feeling that Catholic, like, guilt?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you can, but you have not yet been able to. Okay. It's possible, and you will succeed at that. However, if you notice as you talk how complex the subject of sex is, all those things you listed, the messages that
I
your
know, it was
dad
very
gave you,
complicated.
and that's for us
Yeah.
one of the challenges is that sex when it's good is so simple and easy. It's natural. And yet when all our past comes forward, all these messages that we've heard about sex, because sex as an activity, as a part of being human, gets linked with our values, gets
Yeah.
linked with our upbringing, gets linked with morality, gets linked with religion, gets linked with gender, gets linked with power, gets linked with so many factors that now it can't be this simple, beautiful thing. Now it's very complicated. And sex doesn't happen well when it's complicated. Love doesn't happen well. Love is essentially very, very simple. I actually have a book available on my website, and it's called Love is Simple, but We Are Not.
Right.
And
And
that's our problem.
the
We are
website.
too complicated and we overcomplicate things and we destroy that which is beautiful and simple, which is love. And sex is simply an expression of love. It's just including our bodies in our love.
And I
Whereas,
think,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry.
I have some. You hit the nail on the head, Andy. I, and this is a big one for me. A woman who wants to have sex, right? Wants to have sex with this person, but maybe it's casual. What's the stigma on me as opposed to him? So
Right.
Right.
how are you going to look at me as a woman, 50-year-old woman with children, right? 18 and 21. So there could be some talk in the town, right? So, oh,
Sure.
your mom went out,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow that gets out there. Now the guy is like, yeah, you nailed Carrie. But
Mm-hmm.
what if Carrie, well, I'm not trying to be
It's
crass,
okay.
but
No, it's
I'm
okay. I
being
have to
honest.
learn to get comfortable, right?
But
Carrie,
but I was thinking, what
there
if
is a
I
difference.
wanted to do that? Like, I feel like it's okay for the guy, but what if,
You made a really good point. It's
I
very
There
wanted,
true.
is a double standard. There is a double standard, and that's
and
also
there's
linked
fear
back.
because there's children
It's
involved, and
linked
there's,
back to ancient values and traditions. A lot of our religious traditions linked together femininity with virginal. Okay? The feminine is linked to purity, and spirit. And as a result, that lingers today, and women are held to a different standard than men regarding this carnal activity. And yet, it's not relevant in today's world, where we're actually not talking about the masculine side of spirit. Okay, we are talking more of a feminine aspect of spirit and spirituality, which says all aspects of being human are good. We have to love and embrace all aspects of being human, and that means all parts of our body and all ways that we function. They're all good. They're all expressing our worthiness and our value. And one part isn't any worse than the other. But in our society, there is a different standard that women are held to as compared to men, especially regarding sex. Okay? And yet, as women, you do not need to subscribe to it. You do not need to listen to that. And you can be strong and powerful, because femininity and power go together beautifully. Okay? They're not split.
I agree. And I feel like I wouldn't want to like be a victim to that.
Right.
But there's also talk on the town, and so do you recommend like dating outside of your community?
I think there are probably a lot of human beings outside of your community.
Quite a few.
And some of them
Well,
might
I'm
be
just
nice.
saying, would you think like to start off, maybe that's a little bit safer for girls that are trying to maybe become a little bit more free? That you
I
might
think
want to
it's
do
best,
it a little
Carrie,
further out of your circle?
I think you're bumping into shame in yourself. The judgment is really other people's problem. It's not your problem.
Yes.
Okay? And your strength and your love for yourself is really, really important. And you do not need to alter your behavior. If you are behaving as a valuable, good person who
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
loving and not causing harm, there's no need to be ashamed. The judgment is other people's limitation and their difficulty at being free and loving themselves. That's not your problem.
And
So you just kind of just like keep your head up and just do your thing, right?
Yes.
And
You,
that goes with everything, not just this. I mean, I
yes.
But
think
this is
a lot of times,
This is a
people
tough one.
a lot
This
of
is the
people
challenge.
You're at the envy, and people like
yeah, I know.
they're
Yeah.
watching you. They're watching you, and
Yeah.
Loving
trying to
yourself
figure-
means, Carrie, loving yourself
Yeah.
means that
Yeah.
you are choosing to behave in a way that you yourself are proud of. So I'd ask yourself, are there parts of yourself that still are not yet comfortable or accepting of your sexuality? We're made of many layers, and while some of our surface layers can be comfortable with it, underneath, often older layers still are ambivalent. And that's where the healing and the work needs to happen, to love those parts, to love the parts deep down that are still ashamed of being a sexual person,
Yeah.
of loving and including your
I
bodies.
think you're 100% right, and that is a big muscle that I'm a fitness trainer, so that's a big muscle that I'm really trying to
Yes.
embrace, like to carry the 54-year-old single woman who has rights to go out and date and be happy and have love and sex and all the stuff.
Well, we have to love ourselves first to fully love another. And there are some parts deep down that you're not yet loving, that haven't been healed by your love for yourself. And it's important that you do that. Okay, we need to be strong, loving people. Now, in many ways, I'm quite traditional in my values. And yet I talk a lot about sex, but I'm talking about sex that's really based in our love for ourselves, being the best person we can be, being the person that we can be proud of, And our sexuality is part of our humanness and is part of the person we can be proud of, because sexuality is a good part of being human. It's not sinful. It's not the source of necessary shame. Okay, yet this is what we've inherited from our culture. We've internalized it. We've encoded the cells of our body with it. And this is a part of us that we need to clean and we need to heal through our love for ourselves and realizing that we are good and valuable. We're made to be worthy and essential.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Carrie.
awesome. That's going to help a lot of people.
It is. And Carrie,
Hope
thank you
so.
for sharing with all of us. As we
Absolutely.
really
That was very
appreciate
brave.
it, because there's so many people out here that are gonna really benefit from what you had to say.
Thank
and
you.
I think we're gonna have more conversations very in the very near future about this topic for sure. Carrie and I have been working on some things together, and I feel like we're rocking it, girl. Right?
You bet.
We're getting
Thanks,
better.
Andy.
All right. Thanks,
And you deserve to have a
Carrie.
lot of pleasure.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. It's very interesting. I have a show every week, and we have different people on. We have social workers on and different experts in different areas. But it seems to come up a lot that sometimes the things that we worry about, or the judgments that people are making about us, it's two things are happening. One, the judgments they're making about somebody else are really within them, right?
That's right. Yes.
And then what we're feeling is our own insecurities. So it's just it can be definitely confusing. And I like what you had to say, that we need to be confident and we need to own it, and we just need to block out the noise. We just need to just be strong and confident and good people. And
yes, to stop judging ourselves.
yeah,
People are very harsh on themselves.
sure.
And my message is that essentially we are all good. And that does not mean that we're perfect beings. No, in fact, we're human beings. And our limitations and our struggles and our mistakes are a normal part of being human, and therefore worthy of being accepted by us and forgiven by us, and not really a flaw, but normal and healthy, right? And if we can be positive with ourselves and gentle with ourselves, we can be accepting and forgiving of ourselves and allow ourselves to be the natural person who we are, instead of trying to live up to values that are put upon us by others, or living up to others' expectations or societal expectations. If we can arrive at just being naturally who we are, then we become simple and pure. And love really does that, Veronica. Love simplifies us, right? If we can accept ourselves for who we are and realize that essentially we are good and valuable. It's so simple.
Yeah, it is so simple.
Right.
So we have a couple questions here that I'm going to read to you that were emailed in to me. Some people that were a little bit nervous about being on the V Talks, but I wanted to ask some questions. So I have a question here from Alicia, and this is a relationship question.
Okay.
I'll
try my best.
Not necessarily a sexual question, but you're a relationship therapist, so I think this will work. So her question is, why do I get so frustrated with the person I love the most?
Okay. I don't know Alicia, and I don't know her relationship, so I'll take a flyer here.
All right, why would you get frustrated with a person that you love so much?
Well, the person we love so much is also the person who's most important to us. Mm-hmm. And that's the person with whom we've become entangled with the most. So when we're really, really close to another person, our being and their being are somewhat entangled and merged. So our sense of self actually becomes, it includes this other person. And so when they do things, it's hard not to take it personally because they mean so much to us and they know us so well. There's a lot of expectations as well that, well, they know us so they wouldn't do that. And that makes that even more meaningful. We can take it personally that that means something about their love for us. Also, the more we know a person, the more their behavior impacts us because we place great importance on that person. Okay? All that they do has a greater impact to us because we are more open to that person. And so more of what they do comes in and impacts us. Whereas with other people are not as important, their judgment is not as important to us, and therefore their voice shows up as a smaller volume.
Okay.
All right?
So what would be a solution for Alicia, for her, let's say it's her spouse. I'm assuming that it is. And she gets frustrated with her spouse because, I don't know, he's not taking out the garbage, or I don't know, he's leaving piles of clothes on the steps, from laundry, or
terrible.
I don't know. Yeah, terrible stuff. But,
Yes.
just losing her mind.
He's loading the dishwasher improperly, probably. Or folding the towels incorrectly. They don't fit in the shelves.
Yeah, like minor stuff in the big scheme of
Right.
things, right?
Right.
But Alicia's tired.
Yes.
Alicia's like, right?
Right. Marriage.
So what should Alicia do?
Marriage is tough. Okay. I think there are a lot of answers, but loving another person is among the hardest things we can do in life.
Okay.
Okay. When we love another person, we are going to run right into our limitations of love. And a love relationship is actually a part and a process of growth. Okay. That's what our love relationships do, is force us to grow. And it does it through the adversity. All right. I believe strongly that in everything we do, we must be the person we can be proud of.
Okay.
And all our life circumstances force us to grow and be strong. And our love relationships provide a lot of adversity because partners are different. Partners have to negotiate the differences. We can't control our partner. Sometimes we can influence our partner, but sometimes not. And marriages die, what I say is die a death of 1,000 paper cuts. It's all these stupid little things that don't just happen, but they keep happening. They don't just happen once a day, they happen 5 times a day. And the pain from these little things accumulate over time. Okay. However, I also believe that we are very, very strong beings. And there are not life situations that are a good excuse for us to be less than our best. So if Alicia is allowing these small things to get her frustrated, then I'm wondering if she's being the best she can be in those moments. And I'm wondering is she using the energy in that frustration, which is a low form of anger. I'm wondering if she's using that energy effectively for her own well-being, or if she's internalizing it and holding on to it, and therefore it's building up inside in the form of resentment. And then when that occurs, all her husband has to do is that one stupid thing again, and she's going to blow up. It will be a small trigger that releases a large amount of anger or angry energy.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm wondering, for Alicia, is there a different use of that energy in the anger? Because anger is really an emotion that provokes energy for the purpose of fixing a problem. finding a
Okay.
solution. And sometimes the solution where we're powerless is the practice of acceptance. And that might not seem a lot, but actually it's transformative, is the ability to take situations we don't much like and say, I am powerful. I'm not going to allow that to make me less than my best. And I'm going to operate at a higher level with this. Or maybe take that energy and approach her husband in a different way than before, without anger, and say, listen, this needs to be better. You can do something about this. Sometimes it's a stalemate between spouses that actually causes a partner to actually enjoy doing it to piss the other off, a kind of rebellion, right?
Well,
And
this is actually my next question here, because Randy asks, how can I communicate more effectively with my partner?
Okay.
So I think we're answering that now, right?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I think effective communication starts with a strong skill of listening. And we don't listen very well, especially in our love relationships where there are issues that get quite heated and intense.
Just shooting daggers. Nobody's
Yeah,
listening. Yeah.
That's it. There's a lot
Yeah.
of pain that builds up, and unresolved, Veronica, pain runs the relationship.
Yeah.
And when that's happening, partners are trying to get their pain reduced and addressed at the same time. And when we're not listened to or we're not treated compassionately, our pain increases. And this is when an escalated conflict occurs between romantic partners. And of course, the problem doesn't get solved, it gets worse, right? So breaking a problem like this into parts where partners actually can say in a loving way, you go first, I'm just going to listen to you. I am going to listen compassionately, and I'm going to listen for your pain. And I'm going to try to understand, even if I see it completely differently. I'm just going to listen, and I'm going to learn about your pain. And I'm going to show you that you matter by understanding your pain. And then I'll have my turn. But we break it into parts so we don't get into that moment where neither partner is expressing compassionately an understanding of the other's experience and pain.
Do you recommend doing that after, because I know in my house, do you just let it be then, and then revisit when we're calm, or do you deal with it right then?
I think it's about trusting yourself, Veronica, and you know yourself. And if
I'm not worried about me.
well, then your husband.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure he's watching. He's like, "Oh, great."
Can he trust
Hey, listen,
himself?
it's normal. It's normal. Yeah.
Can he trust
Arguing's
himself
normal.
to handle the intensity of what he's experiencing? Or does he need to say, yeah, Veronica, I better not talk about this now because I'll say something I regret and
Right.
I don't want to cause unnecessary harm. So
But
sometimes
then
we
you
need
revisit.
to cool it down.
Then
Yeah.
you revisit when you're
Yeah.
calm.
Yeah.
All right.
Because,
Good advice.
each one of us, I believe it's our highest obligation as a romantic partner to protect the other from being hurt by us, right?
Yeah.
To love, there's no place for hurts. It's going to happen. I mean, there's no love without pain, and loving another will include some hurts, but it's
Yeah.
our best to eliminate as many as possible.
Well,
So there you
very
go.
good. Yeah,
There you
very
go.
good advice. So I am actually going to bring on another guest.
Okay.
Though I don't really know after this conversation if she really wants to go forward with what her question is. But
Okay.
we'll see. You'll get it when she asks her question. Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
Hi, Victoria.
How are you? Hi.
You've been listening? Are you sure you still
Yes,
want to ask this
I have
question?
been listening.
You still
So
want to
I
ask
do.
this?
I think so.
We didn't scare you? You're like,
No,
I'm
you
not
didn't.
sure if I want to do this anymore.
No, I'm not scared very easily. I'm a little
Okay.
nervous to ask the question.
I
Only
love
for
it.
the
This is
answer.
great. I think this is a great question.
Yeah.
What's the
so
question?
My question is, my boyfriend and I have been together for 9.5 years now.
Mhm.
which is a very long time. It's the longest relationship either of us have been in.
Okay,
It's my
good.
longest. It's his longest too, as well. We both had previous relationships, but nothing super serious. And we are very serious. We actually just bought a house, and we've been living together for 4 months now, about give or take. And this is the first time that we've lived together. We didn't live
Hmm.
before previously, so that's
Congratulations.
thanks. That's been a trial in and of itself. But my biggest question is 9.5 years together. We bought a house. We're adults. We're both 29. Um, my biggest question is what is holding him back from furthering the relationship? Meaning, getting married.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know if you can answer this. It's kind of more of a, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
We're gonna find
Well,
out.
I guess so.
of course, I have you in front of me, not your boyfriend. So
Yes, that's,
I
yeah.
can't ask
Let's not go
him
down that road.
what do you think? You know him best. What do you think is holding him back?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, we've talked about it multiple times. Like, it's come up in many conversations. We talk about getting married. We talk about having kids. It comes up all the time. I kind of tease him, if I see like a ring that's pretty, I'm like, oh, hey, look, I like this ring. And he just kind of looks at me like, yeah, okay. He gives me the look. And our friends joke about it, like, when are you guys getting married? When are you tying the knot? And I'm like, yeah, when are we getting married?
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of said, in previous conversations that we've had, that he really wants to live together and, buy a house before we take that next real adult step. And I'm like, okay, well, we did that. So can we, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
ask the question, move this along?
Okay. So what I'm hearing is I'm going on hints because I don't know him.
Yeah.
You just bought a house and you moved in together. What is your
Yeah.
financial situation like together?
So far, so good. He does make more money than I do.
Okay.
A significant amount more, which is why we're able to buy the house now.
Okay.
Because we're equal, but he does make more money. I will admit that. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I know that I don't make a lot, in my profession.
Victoria, how important is it for him that he feel like he's secure in his financial situation?
Oh, very,
Okay. What does he
very.
think his financial situation needs to be to afford a ring that you'd really love, or to afford the kind of wedding, or to afford the kind of lifestyle that he thinks he should be able to provide you?
Um, he, let's see, how do I? We actually kind of had this conversation kind of already. I jokingly, we were talking about, getting married and getting engaged and, how long we've been together. And he said to me, he goes, well, whenever we do get engaged, you're going to want to get married like, 6 months later. And I was like, no, 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 no. I'm a very
Mm-hmm.
indecisive person. I can barely decide what I want to eat for dinner, let alone what I want to wear on my wedding day.
Right.
I change my outfit in the mornings like 6 times. So I'm not going to be able to decide what kind of dress I want to wear on the most important day of my life. I don't know where you're getting that from. I was like, it's going to take me a long time to
Mm-hmm.
plan our wedding, especially considering, like I said, I changed my outfit like 7 times.
Well, you
Um,
said something that I'm going off of. It was a little hint, and your expectations may be far different than his assumptions about
okay.
what is good enough or what should happen. I'm just wondering, I've talked to a lot of men who don't move forward at proposing until they feel like they're ready financially. And I'm wondering if that's true for your boyfriend. All right.
Yeah.
And these are things that are not revealed. So
Yeah.
you might have a discussion about that to say, listen, our financial situation isn't the most important. But this is getting to the point where I have to be true to myself, and this is vitally important for me to feel good about myself now that we've taken this step, and we've been together 9 years,
Yeah.
right? And so this really should be talked about, because it would be a shame if something that wasn't understood or shared between you was acting as an obstacle to moving forward with the next wonderful phase of your love relationship, right?
Yeah.
How does that feel to you, Victoria? Is that possible?
I think so. I don't know. I
Okay.
think I'll be nervous to
I mean,
ask him.
You know, some men are frightened of commitment, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I don't know if he's kind of traditional, in the sense that he wants to live with me for a little while, and I don't know if that's what's holding him back, or I don't know if I think he could buy a ring right now. Like, I'm not picky. Like, I don't want, something that costs thousands of dollars. I don't need something that costs thousands of dollars.
but what are his expectations about that?
I've told him multiple times. I mean, and we've joked about, how he said he's gonna go get a ring pop. And I'm like, well, no, no. I don't want a ring pop, but I don't need something that's a giant diamond, or, that costs, I don't need an 8-carat or however they do it. I don't even know how they count them, honestly.
Are there any rough edges in your relationship?
Not that I am aware of.
Okay.
I'm a very open person. I'm comfortable talking about pretty much anything. And I like to get things out on the open. To me, communication is a huge thing in relationships. And I like
Do
to
you
communicate.
argue much?
Yeah.
You
No. I mean, little spats. I mean, about, loading a dishwasher that he doesn't do.
He
does it
knew
all
it
wrong.
too. Like, how many couples have you talked to? You're like, loading the dishwasher, take it out there, leaving the stuff out. Like,
Yeah,
you've heard it
like,
all. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that they're arguments. I would say that they're more of like disagreements, but we're over them quickly.
Okay.
We figure it out. We've only had one real big argument, and it was very early on in our relationship, and we talked about it and we discussed it and we've moved on. But
Have you had a
no
real direct conversation that starts out with, what's holding you back from proposing?
No, that scares me.
And I know, and maybe it would take
More than what you're doing
someone-
right now?
Maybe it would take someone like
he's
me
not
to
watching.
ask him that question. Maybe it would take someone like me to ask him that question. But it is scary. But I'm wondering if it might be he has it set in his head how it has to go, and the conditions, it could be money, are not yet ready for him to be able to do what he has planned.
Yeah.
Right? And my guess is it's the money.
Okay.
And Victoria, don't you want to know why? Like, what's happening right now is you have no idea why.
Right.
So if you ask
No.
him, then you'll know, and then you'll go, we talked about the fact that we're Virgos, right? And we like to
Yes.
control everything. And we like to we like a little plan, and we, all our little ducks in a row. I'm not a therapist, but I am a Virgo. And we want to have our little duck. Everything's got to be, if it's on the left, it's on the right, whatever. So for you, if you know what it is, then you have that goal, and then you're not so stressed, because you're like, okay, it's because X and this, so once those goals are met, then we can move forward. But right now, you have no idea.
And I thought
and
I
that's
did.
stressing you.
Was...
That's upsetting you, because you have no control right now. It's
no.
You don't. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right, Andrew?
There's nothing better than a direct question.
Yeah.
Right? But
yeah, and I mean, I
don't know.
thought I knew.
Would you feel
what
like
his...
if you brought it up and then he proposed, well, it wouldn't be as good because you had to bring it up?
Yeah.
Because you'd
And I
say,
want it to
oh, the only reason you're marrying me now is because I asked you. So I basically
Right.
proposed to you, right? That's what you would
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, and I don't know if bringing it up
Yeah.
would make him uncomfortable in the sense that he'd be like, all right, well, she's pushing me. And I don't want that because I'm not like an ultimatum type of person at all, by any stretch of the imagination. And if I did do that, he would probably most likely leave because
A
he's
less,
that just that type of person.
a less direct question would be, is there something wrong? Right?
Okay.
I'm getting worried. I'm afraid there's something wrong. Are you not happy
Oh,
Okay.
in our
Yeah.
relationship? Right? What's wrong? Because I would think that if you really love me, you would be ready to move on with making this relationship permanent.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, he did. So, at first, I knew why he wasn't asking because he wanted a house, which totally understand.
Yeah.
Fine. I get it. It's one thing to be together, for as long as we have been. And it's a completely different thing, which we are learning, to live together and to be with someone, all the time. And to wake up next to that person, to have their responsibilities together, have bills together, food shopping or lack
All that
thereof,
fun stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
all that fun
Yeah.
adulting stuff, which I was
Yeah.
not prepared for. But that's a different story. But yeah, I don't know what's holding him back now. I don't know if it's just because he's comfortable, which is
But
fine.
it's not up to you. You don't know. So the only way you're going to find out is
Yeah.
if you ask. So I
Right.
think that's what
Right.
Andrew is saying, that you either have to ask directly or ask in a indirect way, but you have to ask, and then you'll get the answer, and then you won't be worried anymore.
That's right.
Hey,
We
maybe
have-
So Victoria, maybe we're gonna have you on again, and you're gonna tell us what happens. Okay.
Ooh, that'll be exciting.
But I think we gave you some really good advice.
No, you did, and I appreciate
Yes.
it.
And thank you so much. And we're all on pins and
of
needles
course.
now to see that.
Good luck
ring.
with that, Victoria.
I think you're gonna get that
Thank
ring.
you.
All right,
I
honey.
hope so.
Thank you, and thank you for being on the V Talks.
Oh yeah, of course, anytime. It was nice meeting you, nice chatting with you. Thank you for your advice.
Yes, keep watching. We're still talking about relationships. We have a bunch of questions. Oh yeah.
Okay, I will.
All right, bye.
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 Oh, she's so cute, right?
This is sweet.
I know. I wish her luck. I'm sure it is, he obviously loves her to pieces. They just moved in together. They're such a cute couple, and I know they will get through this. So you gave her good advice.
Oh, thank you.
You're like, of course I did. It's what I do. So we have a few more questions, and
Okay.
right now they're relationship questions. So this is a mom named Sandy, and she asks, I am a mom, I work, and I need more support. How can I get more help around the house without it turning into a constant battle? I'm assuming this means with the kids and the husband.
Okay. All right.
Knowing this person.
Yeah,
Yes.
in that situation, the children are going to take a lead from the husband. So the husband's more powerful. The
Really?
husband,
Always?
well, the husband's an adult of the house. He should be more powerful. He should
okay, yeah.
have
Then the children,
power.
yes.
Yes, than the children.
Okay.
And so I think for Sandy, I think she should first try to influence the husband.
What if the husband's not on the same page?
Then they need to get on the same page. They need to do what it takes to get on the same page. And that might mean some important discussions. So if him not taking responsibility around the house might just be the tip of the iceberg. There might be a lot of unresolved issues. And I can't guess what those are, but they may have to be resolved first before her influence is successful. But she deserves to be an equal responsibility taker in the house. And if the husband is not taking responsibility, then he in some ways is acting childlike. he's not being powerful in the house. He's not demonstrating strength and ownership, which is very, very important. And that's what an adult does, is take responsibility and ownership. So I would work with him to say, why are you not stepping up here? Because if he steps up, there are benefits. He will earn the respect and admiration of his wife, whereas if he acts like a child, his wife is going to lose respect for him, and also she will at some point stop finding him attractive, and that would be a shame. So I think that she needs to approach him and say, listen, I need for you to be a strong adult. I need for you to take responsibility and ownership. What's interfering with you doing so? And he may need to work on himself and understand why he's having a hard time letting go of his childishness, his acting like a little child, where he somehow thinks that there'll be a mommy who's going to take care of him, right? That's not fair. That's not right. He needs to be an equal partner with Sandy to run the household and be an equal adult and share the power equally and share the responsibility equally. And then Sandy can say to the children, along hopefully with her husband, to say, you two need to step up. You have chores and responsibilities. This is your house. And now the dad is setting the example by also taking responsibility and showing that as an adult, we do a wide variety of things. We take responsibility for all kinds of things. And these tasks aren't just Sandy's or mom's or a wife's tasks. We have to be strong in all phases. So that's what I think needs to happen, Veronica.
Yeah, and I hear this from a lot of my friends. So
Yes.
that they have difficulty, raising their children because they are not on the same page as their spouse. And
Right.
I've seen marriages break up over it.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And it's so sad,
Yes.
And, so advice for that situation, I mean, that probably does need counseling, right?
Well, there's a lot of pain that builds up in those situations. And when couples cannot solve problems together, right, that pain doesn't reduce. And eventually the connection is destroyed by the accumulated pain and resentment.
Yeah.
And that's when partners get to the point where they ask themselves, is this worth it? Why do I want this? Because it's only painful. There isn't the joy of love and connection and teamwork, of friendship, of being lovers. It all breaks down, right?
Yeah.
And I believe I'm a strong proponent in partners need to be a really good problem-solving team. And that takes two strong, mutually respectful adults to solve problems together, right? And that's
Right.
usually where I come in, is when couples can't do it on their own, they come to me, so I help to both point out areas for change, point out ways for partners to step up and use their strength to solve problems, right? So the pain
Yeah.
can be reduced, the collective pain in the relationship.
And if there are people watching right now and they want to make an appointment with you, they can go to helpforpassion.com, right, and make an appointment through there.
Absolutely. Help for
Right.
Passion. It's help. Some people think it's a number 4, but it's help, FOR, passion.com. And on the website, they can become a new patient just by visiting the website, and they can actually see my calendar, and they can choose a time and request that appointment right through the website. As well as on the website, there's all kinds of material there that can help couples, even if they never schedule an appointment with me, because I created the website just to be of service. It's very important that I am just of service. So it's not always about earning money. Sometimes it's about just helping people, right?
And Andrew, are you taking patients right now with COVID, or is it all through Zoom, or are you just doing both?
No, I'm doing both. I do face-to-face still, even though our area has very high infection rates. And if we go into lockdown, of course, which may happen in the very near future, then once again, I'll go 100% remote.
Yeah. But I think people are getting more and more accepting of it.
Yeah.
They really
Yeah.
are. So along those lines, actually, I do have one more question here from Karen, and she asks, "I want to bring back the romance into my marriage. Can you give me tips on how to rekindle our relationship?" So we've got the broken down relationship with Sandy. And then Karen wants to rekindle the broken relationship.
It's a great question.
Right?
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful question. And, a lot of couples come to me not because things are broken or not because there are problems, but just to improve the quality of life or the quality of relationship or strengthen the connection, strengthen the passion, or even increase the pleasure in their lovemaking, right? So Karen asks, what can they do to rekindle the romance?
Yes.
And I'd say, in a similar way to what we were talking about before, with a couple like that, I would want to learn about, are there still pockets of unresolved pain, right? Are there areas where partners are having trouble connecting because of unresolved differences or because hurts that have not healed, right? And so I'm always looking for, where is the pain in the relationship, right? Where is the pain held between partners? Is there resentment that's accumulated? And I'd want to learn about that and work with partners and understand who they are and where they feel worthy and where they're stuck in their love for themselves, and help to eliminate obstacles to love flowing for a partner, for him or herself, and then between partners. And so let's eliminate all the pain. Let's negotiate some of the differences so love is unblocked. We want to free it up so love will flow. And oftentimes it's not very hard to do that. It's quite magical that when we solve a few little problems and we unblock the pain, love just flows out there. It's all built up. It's all pent up. And then it just flows. And it's amazing how quickly a couple can suddenly skyrocket into the honeymoon period again. It's so beautiful when it happens. And two people become incredibly close again. And the passion just blooms like a rose blooming in the springtime. It's just so beautiful. It's really wonderful.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it can happen very, very easily sometimes. So I'd encourage Karen to have some wonderful intimate conversations.
I think Karen and Sandy.
Both
and
of them.
if Alicia can get that dishwasher loaded right.
Yes, that's right. Or
That's
sometimes say, I'm going to let go of the issue of the dishwasher. I don't really care because that really doesn't matter in the scheme of the universe, right? And let go. Sometimes we got to let go.
I have a little story. I always have a little story. I had my husband had left, I forget, a bag on our front porch. And I asked him to bring it in. It's covered front porch. Nothing. I asked him again. Nothing. Cleaning lady tripping over it. Still didn't move it. And then it became a joke. And I thought, I am not going to nag him. I'm just going to leave that bag there. I think that bag stayed there for months.
Wow.
Months. And I finally said, aren't you embarrassed? All these people keep walking by and we all know that it's you leaving that bag. And then he relocated the bag to his man cave. He never actually unpacked it. I don't know. It's been maybe 67 months now. I don't even know where the bag is.
Did he ever say why he didn't move it?
No.
Huh.
No.
And what built up inside you when it was sitting there and sitting there and sitting there?
Well, this is interesting. If I had been alone, just me and myself and I would have probably gotten really mad. It would have festered inside of me because I'm a Virgo, as we talked about. Like everything's got to be perfect. But because I have so many people that are in and out of here, and then we just turned it into a joke. And a couple of them were saying that would drive me crazy. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to try a different approach, thinking because I'm not nagging him, because he wouldn't do it because I'm nagging, right?
Right.
I didn't nag this time, and it stayed there for months.
Huh. Wow. You both were pretty stubborn.
Because I didn't move it,
Neither of you moved it.
but it was his bag. He put it there.
Oh, it was his bag.
Oh, it was his bag.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just
That's-
the story
Yeah.
regarding the dishwasher. But I tried a
I just-
different approach.
I
didn't
wonder
get
why.
mad.
Did you ever directly ask him, why did you leave it there?
Yeah, I don't think I did. Isn't
Wow.
that strange?
Huh. I'm curious.
Why did? Yeah, you need to find out. He's probably watching right now. Maybe he can put it in the comments section. I don't know. So we have another person that is here. This is Jean. We didn't do sound checks on Jean, so we're gonna cross our fingers that this is all good here.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna bring Jean on. She has a question, and this is switching gears just a tad bit. Jean?
Hello.
Oh, good. I can hear you.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Hi,
Jean.
Jean.
Hello.
Can you do me a favor? Can you go on the bottom of your screen? It says Cam Mic,
Yes.
and if you click on the audio,
Okay.
can you? There's like a little bar to turn your volume up. Can you just slide that up a tad?
Looking for it.
Hit audio.
I did.
And on the bottom, there's like a little. You could just scroll up. It should.
There we go. How's that? Is this better?
Oh, yes, much better. Thank
Okay.
you. Now you
You're
can
welcome.
come back and look at us.
Okay.
Yes,
Hi.
thank you so much. Hi, honey.
Hi,
glad
Jean.
to see you.
Hi.
Glad
Nice to see you.
we made it.
Yes, I made it. Sorry, I was late. I was eating dinner, and then my brother showed up, and so I was like, "Oh
And you
crap,
said,
I gotta go.
you're like, I have to go.
I gotta go." And of course, I told
I'm
him.
missing sound checks.
And then I told. He's like, "Well, what are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Nothing.
it's one of these. La 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 la."
Oh, well, no, we went through all of that now.
Yes.
Now we're on your question.
So we got that all out of the way, and
Yes.
I do have to say, Andrew, it's nice to meet you. And
to
everything you have said and all the different topics I can glean a lot of it from a lot of different areas for my own life. But my question or topic is not sex related at all. So
Okay.
it's actually about my teenagers. I'm a single mom, and I have
Mhm.
2 teenagers, both in high school. And it's just the effects of, I mean, yeah, dealing with teens, it's dealing with teens, but
Yes.
it's now teens in isolation. They're both in a hybrid schooling, sometimes in school, sometimes at home. But it's the isolation that I'm dealing with them, because it's not teens, it's teens in COVID. I mean, we've all been healthy, but it's just the whole aspect of not seeing friends, not hanging out with friends, not being in high school
Right.
like we all
Right.
grew up, and experiencing everything. And not getting that high school experience of, choir's different. Choir is, hey, let's go sing underneath the bleachers. That's class. It's not the whole class together singing. It's not a band getting together and playing.
Right. So
It's
different.
not. Sports have not happened yet. Some schools are doing sports, but a lot aren't. And my kids see 2 friends. That's it. One sees one sees the other, and that's it. But it's not getting together with groups of friends. It's not, hey, let's come over whenever. It's, so who's sick? Who's healthy? Are you guys okay? Before we can get together. And it's, with all of that, it's the anxiety and the tension that just comes on a daily, above and beyond what normal teens, and it's frustrating.
Yes, it is.
It's very frustrating, and sometimes short fused, I think, from them and also from me. And it's just trying to, I mean, I have great support systems. for myself and for my kids. But I feel like because I am a single mom, that it's harder. They do see their father, but there is no relationship between the two of us. It's separated.
So your question
100%.
is, so your
So
question
how to
is
deal with them and
how
the
to-
frustration of all this in the
Right.
times we live in.
Yeah,
It's hard.
so you want to know how to deal with your children that are home during COVID and they're teenagers, and how to help maneuver them.
I guess
this,
it's just
right?
something like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's how to get beyond that isolation. It's like, there was no, I mean, it is what it is, and I hate that saying, but there was no, hey, let's go on vacation somewhere. We haven't done that. We haven't gone anywhere, and to get them we're going to drive around and get out of the house.
And Jean, what are you
stressful.
witnessing? What are you witnessing in it's you? You have two sons?
A daughter and a son.
Okay, and what are
Both
you
high school.
witnessing in them that is starting to make you concerned?
24 hours on their
Right,
phones.
okay. Yep.
And in their rooms 100% of the time. So they're on their computers in their rooms for school when they're home. And then when they're done, they're on their phones, on their computers, playing games, talking with friends. So, I mean, they're having communication with friends on phones, not face to face, but it's
What are their ages?
14 and 16 in 2 weeks. So
Okay, tough
it's
ages.
a fresh, tough ages, a freshman and a sophomore. But it's to me, I feel like their bedrooms, because of COVID, have really become caves.
Yep.
And I have said this to him. I said, your bedroom is not a prison. Please come out. Come be part of the family. And it's hard. It's frustrating and
Sure.
very difficult. And
Okay, well,
and I feel like
for a teen
and
at
I
this
think,
age,
yeah.
it's a little bit like a disease. There's a lot of suffering when our children are 14 and 16.
I just want to live through it.
Yeah, you got to survive. However, at that age, it's not unusual that their rooms are not so much a cave, but a cocoon.
And I get that. I get that.
A cocoon is a place where transformation happens. At this age, teens often isolate in their rooms, and this can happen for a year or 2 years where they're separating from their parents and they are connecting more with their friend group, because that's becoming a transitional family as they make the transition from children to more adult-like. They're trying to make that shift to adult-like. And that's a dilemma for parents. It's really, really hard, because at this age, we often don't know how to be with them. They're confused in themselves. And 1 minute they're acting adult-like or pretending that they should be adult-like. And the next minute they're acting like a child, and we don't know how to be with them. It can drive us crazy as parents also.
Yeah, definitely. And
this is not just a COVID thing. This is
no.
I know that. But I just feel like this COVID just adds that another layer. And and you had said earlier, I wrote it down. It's hard not to take it personally, because we are so attached. Attached isn't the word, but I had homeschooled my kids for 4 years, their first 4 years in school. Wow. And then life happens, became a single mom, put them in public school, which has been great for them, great for me. But now that we've gone back to that homeschooling, it's school / it's hybrid, but it's not homeschooling, because I personally know the difference.
Right.
Because homeschooling it's all encompassing. It's a lifestyle, and working.
So
and then
you
established
very, very close relationships with your children over a long period of time, and yet the teen years are a time of separation, and I'm
having a hard time.
That is really hard, even harder for moms than dads, and it can feel painful, like a loss, or even like rejection. And that can be really, really tough, Jean. Yeah.
That's what I do feel. I feel rejection.
Yeah.
And I sometimes there are days that the frustration level gets really high in the house,
Hmm.
that it feels like I'm going to lose them, and that's not what I
Yeah.
want to do. And I just want to survive
Yeah.
my school years.
You're not going to
What
lose
should
them.
what
You're
should
not going
what
to
should
lose them.
parents do during
Yeah,
this time?
what should I mean? Not just myself, but other parents out there that are,
Oh yeah, I hear
you
this
know,
a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, so many are now thrown into the situation of
Hmm.
hybrid learning, and their kids are home all the time. Because I mean, coming from a homeschool background with my kids, it was for them to go off to school. It was hard, but I embraced it, and now they're home, and I'm trying to transition. It's
Right.
been
Well,
6 years.
we have two problems going on, Gene. One is the
Yeah.
COVID problem, and
Hmm.
that's creating extra stress and extra adversity that is not normal, right? But
Yes.
then we have the teen stuff, which is very difficult and challenging at its best,
Hmm.
right? So for you, um, the healthy reaction will not feel comfortable, and that is to let go, to give them space and talk with them and ask them how they feel about different things. You're going to want to start to help them develop their own good judgment,
Hmm.
because at this stage they're going to need more and more independence. As COVID decreases, they're going to want more and more independence, and that's always uncomfortable for us as parents when our
Oh
children are
yeah.
not yet adults, right?
and
And
and I try to push. I actually do try to give them the independence, and it's like, go to your friends, go do this, go. And I
good.
have one that says, "See you, mom. I'm on my bike and I am out of here." And I have the other one that is, one's an extrovert, and the other one is like, "No, I'm home. I don't want to go anywhere." I'm like, "But go out with your friends, go hang out,
Good.
go ride your bike around town." She's like, "No, I'm good." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, as you
Um,
let go, as you give them more permission and start taking back the parent voice instead of shifting to more of a friend voice. It's not that
mhm.
you'll always be the parent, but at gradually they're going to need the parent less and less as they step into more of a self-responsible role,
Mhm.
and they will start coming back to you more and more because they will
Okay.
really appreciate your love, the fact that you're there, the fact that you're providing them stability and safety. So they will start coming back to you if you give them space. And you can always talk with them and say, well, how did that feel? Was that good judgment? Was that the best choice? And let them develop their own judgment and being able to safely say, no, that wasn't a good choice. I kind of screwed up. That was lousy. I really messed that up. Instead of you saying that and imposing that as a parent. So
Okay.
that way they'll come back to you and open up to you, instead of what teens do is they don't tell their parents about their mistakes because they're afraid they'll get the parent voice, and being told
Mhm.
that they did wrong. So we don't want to block that pathway back to you, okay?
Okay.
How
All
does that
right.
feel?
Scary and hard,
Yeah.
but good. And a
Yeah.
lot of what you're saying. I have somebody in my life that does say all of that because he's gone through teens,
Mhm.
and have done
It's
that. So it's
terrifying. Terrifying to have a
absolutely.
teen. It is. Yeah.
As-
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're like
And
little
it's so
hellions.
good that you validate that, because I feel like I know many people that feel that they're the only ones going through it, and I think
No.
it's really good that
Yeah.
we have this
I
platform
know
right
we're
now that
not.
we're right, like we're
Yeah,
telling the world, like,
Yeah.
trust me, this is normal,
Mhm.
right?
We
yeah. And
have
I've
to
had so many
take
Yeah,
people think that
increasing
I think
risks.
I'm the only one, but yeah.
We have to
yeah.
give more control away to our children and give them the permission and the possibility to take risks little by little. And every time we do that, we're afraid we're going to lose them, or we're afraid they're going to die.
Mhm.
And they're the most valuable thing, the person most valuable to us. And it's terrifying to take those risks but it's the way they grow and learn and become strong adults. It's really tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is. And stuff. Yeah, it is. I appreciate everything you've said. Oh my gosh,
Okay.
take it to heart totally.
Yeah. Well,
And
Gee,
thank
thank
you for the
you.
question, Jean.
oh,
Thank
you're
you. It was a
welcome.
really good question, and I know a lot
Yeah.
of people are going to benefit from this
I hope
answer.
so. We're all
All
going
right.
through this together. Thanks, Bea.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for
Okay.
coming
Bye.
on.
Nice meeting
Nice to
you.
meet you. Nice meeting
Oh, yeah, I think that was a really important question.
Yes.
I know that a lot of parents are going through this right now, and
Mm.
gosh, we didn't even touch on what are the kids going through right now.
Right. It's tough to be a
That's a
teen.
whole nother show,
Yeah.
right?
I'm glad I don't have to be a teen again.
No, no, not at all. And then
Yeah.
just with the COVID
In
and
this world.
everything is changing. Oh my goodness, with
Yeah.
school and everything. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just really tough. But,
Yeah.
I think everyone's going through it together, which is helpful.
Yes. We're all in this together.
We're all in this together. And we have Andrew Aaron, who will be more than happy to help maneuver you through it.
That's right. I'm here to
That's
help.
right. That's
Yep.
right. So we talked a little bit earlier about something else that you do. You said did you say you had a guided meditation group?
Yes.
Okay, could you talk a little bit about that? We talked a little bit about it the other day, but I want to
Okay.
hear more about it.
Yeah, actually, it used to be more of a meditation group. It's actually become more of a spiritually based discussion group. I'm a lifetime meditator. I've been meditating for the past 35 years, and in a lot of my work with my couples, I also bring in mindfulness practices, also teach a lot of my individual and couples about meditation, because I believe meditation is an important practice to love ourselves, to understand and appreciate deep down in our center what we're actually really made of, which is love. We're made of love, and by meditating, we come to experience the substance from which we're actually made. And so I teach people to meditate, and this allows us to be the best we can be. It's the practice of relaxing. It's the practice of focusing. It's the practice of being at peace and letting go of all the noise from this extremely busy world and finding this place of peace, stillness, silence, and bliss within. It's a beautiful practice. It's a very healthy practice, but it also allows us to cope much better with stress and the demands of this very difficult and chaotic world. It also helps us to be a better lover, a better romantic partner. And I believe that there's a strong connection between meditation and sexuality. There's this aspect of sex that we can call sacred sexuality, and that is bringing together meditation and deep states of both relaxation and awareness with the connection and closeness with a romantic partner and enjoying pleasure together. And being deeply relaxed heightens the amount of pleasure and excitement we can feel, as well as enhances the degree to which we can merge with a partner in love. And so meditation, I believe, is a very, very important way to live our life. It's a very healthy practice, and I strongly encourage people to include meditation in their lives, and I'd be very happy to teach them how to do so.
So, Andrew, how would one be a part of your meditation group?
I'd say probably contact me through the website by emailing me through the website and sending me a message that people in the local area would be important, would like very much to join us. As I said, I do teach meditation, but meditation hasn't been something we've been doing in the group lately. But this meditation group has been, I think it's been going on probably 13 or 14 years. So it's a well-established group.
Are you able to do it through Zoom?
We've never done it through Zoom. Actually, lately, the group meets by telephone because some of the members are elderly and they need to be protected, and we want to be very, very safe. And so we've been meeting on the telephone with a conference call, but potentially through Zoom, I'd be open to it.
Right?
I'd be willing to spend some time guiding people through meditation and cultivating their spirituality and their relationship with the core part of their being, right? To celebrate their being, right? Absolutely.
Okay, so if people want to be a part of the meditation group, they can they can email you through your website.
That's right.
If someone wants to make an appointment with you,
Again,
helpforpassion.com.
helpforpassion.com. There's a link on the main page for the client portal, and that's where new patients can become new patients by going through the necessary steps. It doesn't take much time, and looking at my calendar and requesting an appointment.
I love it. Now, does insurance cover this for most things, or?
I do not work with insurances.
Okay.
I discontinued that a long time ago because insurance companies, they don't play very nicely.
Oh,
But
yeah.
a lot of my patients pay me directly, and then I provide invoices, and many insurance companies offer their members out-of-network benefits, and that
Right.
allows many folks to get reimbursed by their insurance company if they wish to do that.
Okay.
Right.
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Andrew, I am so happy and grateful that you joined us tonight.
Well, thank you.
We didn't go that far over an
No.
hour and 20. It's
Not too bad. It was
Not too
a
bad.
pleasure. It was an hour and 20 minutes of pleasure
It
instead
was
of
an
just an
hour
hour.
and 20 minutes of pleasure. And I said the word sex like 3 or 4 times.
You were amazing.
I know, right? I know. I'm going to get better. I'm going to relax and meditate, and I'm not going to get upset anymore that bags are left on the front porch for 3 months.
Well, find out why, though. Find out why.
I know. You know, it's so funny. I don't think I just flat out asked him. You know, a lot of times he has a go-to move. Well, I was just trying to make you mad.
Oh, okay.
That's his go-to. I've been married 32 years, so, you know.
Congratulations. That's a feat
I-
these days.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, it really was a joy having you on, and I really am so appreciative, and I know everyone else is too.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And you have a happy holiday, and make sure you are ready for our snowstorm, because I hear it's going to be quite a doozy.
I'm getting my shovel arms ready.
I know, but you know, I love the snow.
I
We're
do
so
too.
blessed up here that we have all the seasons. So
It's beautiful.
it is. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yes.
All right, you take care.
Thank you, Veronica.
All
Have
right,
a good night.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that's not what we're doing. There we are. Hello. It's part of me being my own producer. I'm not very good at this, I don't think. But anyway, thank you all for joining us tonight on V Talks. And I hope that we all have a wonderful week. And we will be back next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock with another topic and another guest. Happy holidays, and I will see you next week. Take care.